diagnostics, fairly good discriminatory power of the model, that it could discriminate true falses and true positives and true negatives 77% of the time accurately. This was the probability of livestock kill, and finally this was the result with the equation. So as you can see, most of the conflict hotspots are near villages and near distances to state highways. You can compare this with the tiger activity hotspots as well as livestock activity hotspot, and this also correlates with the non-significance of tiger RAA as well as livestock RAA. So to summarize, I found that about 74% of a narrow, or for a tiger 200 square kilometer is nothing, but still I found 70 tigers in my study area and 9 of them being adults of more than 3 years of age. And this is also in contrast to a study which was conducted a decade ago in Panna itself, which showed that the average home range size of a male dominant tiger was about 180 square kilometers. And I found right now I had 17 tigers in just one study area of 200 square kilometers. So the second objective shows higher tiger RAA at increasing distance from villages, and also temporal activity shifted from suppressed crepuscular activity to highly nocturnal with moderate diurnality. So for the displacement of tigers, they moved faster when they were near villages and slower when they were away from villages. And most of the higher displacement was at night and lower displacement was in day away from villages. Livestock degradation showed higher distance to village and highway as being negatively correlated to increasing probability of livestock degradation. This is because there are trails emanating from both highway as well as villages, and this gives easy access of livestock to use the multi-use buffer areas. And for the way forward, I suggest avoiding free ranging and grazing of livestock in the identified conflict hotspots as well as tiger activity centers, because there are tiger activity centers in the buffer zones also. We also found that tigers explored areas which were very close to settlements or inside villages also. And priority areas are identified based on each tiger's movement, and those areas should exercise corralling of livestock in the night, because we have found tigers to be using some specific sites in villages, although the sample size was very low, just of 2 individuals, which also is a limitation of my study as well as a recommendation to follow more tigers, especially subadults and dispersing tigers, which might come in conflict or whose exploratory behavior is much higher than that of an established tiger. Behavioral variation is also something which we can understand from the tiger collars and the tiger collar data, because within the 2 individuals itself we were able to understand that there was difference in their activity, like higher displacement in day or night. And night safari is something which is practiced in the buffer zones of the reserve currently, but again, since exploratory behavior of subadults and dispersing individuals are more in the night as well as in the day, night safari is something that can be regulated in the buffer zones of the reserve, or in at least areas where tigers do actively move. But then that also kind of defeats the point of tourism, because people are coming in to watch the tigers. So that's pretty much my study. And I would like to acknowledge the following people without whom I would have been this session done. So thanks. Yes, sir.
Very nice treatment of the data, which we collect a lot of information is there. But there are some fundamental things which need to be considered. Right. So I will just start with what was the number of males and number of females in the area.
Right.
How many?
So there are about 3 dominant males in my study area, and females. Each dominant male had about overlap with the home ranges of 3 female tigers.
So at least 9, 10 females.
Yes.
Right. So when you consider, what pattern we have found is that when you go from the village, the or the movement or the
Relative
number of
abundance.
photographs increase when you do IVF.
Yes.
So whether that is a use, whether that's an effect of the disturbance, or that is the inherent ability of the females to be equal to the male. So what is the difference between the male movement and the female movement is based on the larger movement, but they cover large distance. So the number of photographs given by males are smaller than the number of photographs given by females because the area is small and their frequency of their movement is higher. So relate to this to the disturbance or this to where the females are in your area has to be different. So whether this is really an artifact of effect of the village on the presence of the tigers, or it's where the female females are and how they are using this particular area. That has to be different.
Yes, sir.
And when you said that the number of captures also increased.
Yes.
So I was interested in looking at the number of individuals.
Okay.
So maybe village, close to the village, you have only one individual. So maybe a male individual coming and going. Okay. Whereas in the middle of the protected area, or middle of the code, you may have 10 individuals working. So that again is the same thing, like the males, more females in the code, you have more pictures, and they have a smaller movement, they are only there. Okay. So that may be that artifact, not the impact of the disturbance per se. So that is right. And comparing, you have the definition of what's the definition of a juvenile and the definition of subadult.
So this was classified according to, anything less than 3 years was subadult, but greater than 2.5 years. Anything greater than 2 years, and anything less than 2 years was classified as juveniles.
Traditionally, the subadults, this individual was the female,
Yes.
which you classified as juvenile.
The female was the subadult. It's
Male
about
was juvenile.
it's about 3 years, about
But
2.5 years.
Male was not with the mother.
Male, its home range did kind of overlap with the mother, but its home range overlapped with its sibling. So they were moving almost always together, but it did not really stick with its mother.
So like in our case, the tigers at the age of 14 months, they dispersed from their natural genetics.
Right.
So anything beyond 14 months, 15 months or 18 months is a subadult tiger. It's all the same size in this one. And then comparing the movement parameters of the female tiger with the 3.5 years, 3.5 years is almost an adult female.
Right.
And with the male tiger, is like 2.5 years old, and then comparing that the movement was higher in this one. This is a little bit out of place. Like you can't compare a male and a female. The
Yeah.
parameters are totally different.
Correct, sir. So that's why I didn't average out any of the estimates between both individuals. That's why I showed all the estimates specific to each individual, because it's open for discussion.
So these parameters,
Yes.
we have discussed about. And then this thing, when you are RAs, when you talk about the RAs, then also need to be connected from the number of males.
Yes. It's scaled for 100 days.
Yeah, no. I told you the problem associated with the behavior.
Okay.
See, what females do is they have a small movement. See, okay, what is the movement of the female in this case?
So average from the movement ranges, you can see that it's about what?
14, 15 square meters.
No, less than that, sir.
Less than that.
Yeah.
20, 30.
Because the highest home range of the dominant male is about 58. That's the highest movement range.
This is camera trap home range.
Yes.
So camera trap home range is always 50% of the original home range. So if you calculate the television home range,
Right.
that will be almost double. So your
Yes.
females are almost 10, 12, 20. So that will come around 30.
Yeah. For the female subadult, kernel density from the movement range was estimated at about 38 square kilometers.
So females have a smaller home range, but female territories are sacrosanct. They don't allow other females to overlap.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, their movement rate is higher. So
Yes.
when you calculate the average movement rate of a female on daily basis, then maybe the displacement is higher for the male, but average movement is higher for the females because they have the territory. what that indicates that if there are 10 camera traps in the female territory, there will be more photographs. But if there are 10 camera traps in the male territory, there will be very less photographs because males will do once and will not come. So that influences RAI. So that's what people are nowadays talking about. When you are using an RAI or an indicator of the abundance, you have to correct it for these parameters. Because otherwise, it gives you a very wrong information of the use. I think when you, if you correct it for the effect of the moment on RAI, then probably your conclusions about the variation of the RAI just because the displacement will change a bit. But congratulations, very nice. Like this information is always there. It's a very nice way of looking at the same information in a very different way.
Thank you, sir.
It's excellent analysis and really congratulations for that purpose that you have got a really great skills. One question I have in the mind, did you look the ratio of wild prey versus the domestic prey? Okay, the ratio. For both the animals, the subadult or the juvenile, whatever you're calling, and the other animal which is the female. Because in the literature it says that animals who are picking up the soft prey, okay, they usually ranging behavior completely change. They just like to remain there, kill and come back, remain. So home range or the ranging pattern, what you showed for the juvenile or the subadult is just like a compressed one. Okay. So did you look the ratio of the wild prey versus the domestic prey for both the individual, whether it's had really impact on the ranging behavior?
So both the individuals, as in, you mean the ranges?
Ranging characteristics, ranging characteristics. Because the adult female might be picking up more, combination of wild, and that's why it's moving up and down, and and the subadult which you are showing is a very compressed, compact, and more ranging behavior. So, did you look whether it has an artifact of the such kind of a ratio of the wild prey as well as the domestic prey among that ranging behavior?
So I can only provide my observations. So for the subadult, for the juvenile tiger, the male one, whose range was kind of contracted, the movement of livestock was really high in that area. And at the same time, the wild prey abundances are more or less restricted in the core zone of the reserve. And both the individuals, which I showed the animation of, whose ranges were kind of outside the core zone, mostly outside the core zone. So, since both of the adults do come in close proximity to villages, they might be looking for an easy prey of livestock. But this needs more analysis to be done before I make any.
Yeah, that's what I would advise you just try to look, because there is a lot of literature have come, the carnivores who go for the soft prey, okay, and then the complete behavior, ranging behavior characteristic completely changing.
Right.
Just simply kill, enjoy, simply kill, enjoy. So they don't spend much time of the exploratory behavior. So just try to look the ratio of these two correctly. Yeah.
Manu, you have a couple of questions online. Pallavi says that, good study, Manu. Do you think the differences in your collar tiger's displacement is only because of day and night? Could it also be because of the sex differences as males and females move differently?
Yes, definitely. Because the juvenile male, they do avoid confrontation with the dominant males which are in the study area. And the males move about mostly in the night itself. And to avoid temporal overlap or confrontation with the dominant males, they choose to have a higher displacement or higher exploratory period during the day. So yes, and for the female, their territories do overlap with the dominant male. So that's kind of something natural, but the other one, until the juvenile do disperse off, their movement range will be contracted.
Subir asked that very nice and interesting presentation. In the context of tiger movement, he just wanted to know what is the interval of GPS fixes.
1 hour.
1 hour. And also, Subir is also interested to know that how sambar, being a relatively shy species than the other two ungulates, its relative abundance was higher in human dominated areas. Can you explain that?
I did not say that Sambar RA was higher near human settlements. What the correlation to space use occupancy of or space use probability of tigers was positively correlated to the relative abundance of tigers, which is also substantiated by the relative abundance of tigers positively influenced by distance to villages. So we could say that since Sambar is shy, they are not actually seen close to villages but in the core zone only. So the correlation was based on